If you're anywhere near the tech world, you've probably heard the chatter, right? That AI is coming for developer jobs. But today, we're diving into a really interesting source that argues the exact opposite. It asks this wild question: what if AI actually leads to a boom in hiring programmers? It sounds crazy, I know. But to get how that could even be possible, we've got to start with a fear that everyone is feeling right now. And there it is. That's the fear laid out plain and simple. And let's be honest, this isn't some far-off theory. With all the recent layoffs hitting the industry, this anxiety feels incredibly real. I mean, it's the logical conclusion, isn't it? If an AI can code faster and cheaper, why would a company need so many human coders? But what if that whole line of thinking is just wrong? What if this AI revolution doesn't shrink the world of software, but actually makes it explode in a way we can barely even wrap our heads around? To really get this counterintuitive idea, the source we're digging into uses this fantastic analogy, and it has absolutely nothing to do with code, but everything to do with, well, the clothes in your closet. Think about how things used to be made. Like the source describes, a grandma's skirt wasn't just a piece of clothing, it could be part of a dowry, or an older brother's shoes, they got passed down. And why? Well, because making this stuff was really expensive and time-consuming. They were heirlooms, built to survive. You patched them up, you repaired them, you didn't just toss them out. So this slide here really nails the shift. We went from that heirloom model where everything was precious to the fast fashion model we have today. The moment production got super cheap, our entire relationship with our stuff changed. We stopped darning socks and just bought a new pack. Now here's the kicker. This exact transformation is about to hit the world of software. Okay, so let's take that idea and plug it right into the world of code. And this is just a perfect comparison. For decades, software has been an heirloom. The source tells this story about a programmer who was asked to fix some code he wrote 20 years ago. You might ask, why not just rewrite the whole thing? Because it was way too expensive. It was cheaper to patch up the old creaky heirloom than it was to build a brand new one. And this brings us right to the main event, the idea of fast software. The argument is, with AI coding agents, the cost and time it takes to write software is gonna plummet. The source even calls it a devaluation of software craftsmanship. It's no longer about building something to last for 20 years, it's about building something you need for next week. So what does this actually look like for you or me? Well, imagine this. You don't file a feature request and then wait a year for it to maybe show up. Instead, you go to a small software shop, you pay a few $100 and bam. By Monday, you have a totally new, custom app built just for you. And the old one? You just throw it away. Now, if software really becomes this cheap and disposable, it's not just our habits that are going to change. The whole power structure of the tech industry could get turned completely upside down. You see, right now, the tech giants, they thrive on what the source calls a monopoly on complexity. They build these massive, tangled systems that are incredibly hard and expensive for anyone else to come along and copy. That complexity, that's their fortress, that's their moat. This quote just perfectly captures the potential disruption here. Think about it. In a world of fast software, why would you pay millions of dollars to a huge corporation for a system you can't even really customize? Not when you could just pay a small team a few $1,000s to build you a brand new one from scratch, tailored exactly to what you need. The source doesn't pull any punches. It calls out some of the biggest names in the business. Their entire model is based on selling you this complex, one-size-fits-all software. But what happens when a tiny shop can build a custom version of Photoshop or a brand new IDE for just a fraction of the cost? That whole business model starts looking pretty shaky. Okay, so this brings us all the way back to that big, burning question we started with. If these massive companies are at risk and software is basically disposable, what in the world happens to the people who build it? This is it, the moment of truth. Does the devaluation of software craftsmanship also mean the devaluation of the programmer? The answer, according to this analysis, is kind of shocking. The market is going to demand more of them. Way, way more. So here's the twist. The role itself is what's going to transform. We won't need as many of those master craftspeople, the tailors of the old world. Instead, we're going to need what the source calls AI operators. It's just like how fast fashion created this huge demand for factory workers to run the machines. Fast software is going to create a massive demand for people who can manage and direct these AI coding agents. And why are we going to need so many more people? Because the market for software itself is about to explode. When it becomes this cheap and this easy to customize, everyone is going to want their own version of everything. Your company will want its own OS, you'll want your own IDE, tweaked perfectly to your own workflow. The demand for hyper-personalized, custom software could be practically infinite. So I'll just leave you with this final thought to really make this future feel a bit more real. Forget waiting around for the next big update. If you could have a software shop build you a brand new, personalized version of Photoshop and have it ready by next week, what's the first thing you'd ask for?